Welcome to NDTV's big poll of exit polls show. It's 5 p.m. and voting is ending or about to end in Gujarat. That key battleground state has voted. They have decided who they want now to run them for the next 5 years. It's just that you'll only get the results on counting day on Thursday. But what we're going to have very shortly from about 6:30 p.m. onwards are the exit poll results. And NDTV, as always, is not doing an exit poll, but we are the one-stop shop for a poll of all the exit polls. So rather than go channel to channel seeing what the different channels are projecting, you can just tune into NDTV to get all the exit polls in one place. So that's going to happen very shortly. But this is on a day, as I said, when this high-stakes battle for Gujarat ended. Remember, Himachal Pradesh has already voted, so you'll be also getting Himachal Pradesh exit polls today as well. But for the moment, all eyes are on Gujarat, the home state of the Prime Minister and the Home Minister. And both were there today. The Prime Minister and the Home Minister were out there voting today in this very, very closely watched election. And it'll be interesting to see how that panned out. Close to about half of Gujarat's 180 seats have already voted. The remaining 180 voted today. Let's go across now to my colleagues who are joining us on the show tonight. We have Ankit is here with us. Sohit is also there, and Tanushri Pandey. All of us have been tracking this election closely, and they're on the ground in different parts of Ahmedabad, which of course has emerged as a key hub where all the big guns of the BJP contest from, and Aam Aadmi Party and Congress. Let me just start with you, Ankit, because now voting is about to close, and I think one of the things everyone's looking at and has been talking about is turnout. Turnout so far has been somewhat low in the first phase. We've been talking about this through the day. Now we'll have an idea, Ankit, of whether it's going to be low in the second phase as well. What's the overall sense you're getting? Because remember, Ankit, last time we checked, 2017, the turnout was 69%, close to 70%. That's quite a big, turnout. So is it already, there's a sense it may not be able to be, hit that level?
Vishnu, that sense has already set in. I mean, throughout the day, we have been seeing that hour by hour, the voting percentage has been less than what it was compared to 2017, specifically in Ahmedabad. Before we talk more about it, let me show you its curtains on the elections of Gujarat. The gates of this polling booth where the Prime Minister voted in the morning today have been shut. I saw a few cops coming out asking people, those who were standing here, not to gather at this moment. And last minute, I mean, if you would have just come to us about 4 minutes back, there were enthusiastic BJP workers calling up people, and asking them to come and cast their vote. There are still 3-4 people who have gone inside. But at this moment here in Ahmedabad, at the Ranip area, in the Sabarmati constituency, where the Prime Minister votes at the Nishan school, the voting has ended. There is nobody who is allowed right now to go inside. So whatever had to happen, that high decibel campaign, what all percolated down to the voters' mind, all that now has been captured and is closed in the EVMs behind us, which are now in the process of being shut, sealed, and then being sent to the strong rooms to be only open on December 8th. Vishnu, as you were talking, Vasu, as you were talking about the voting percentage, already in the urban areas, there is a worry that the voting percentage has been less. Let me give you a very important example for Ahmedabad. In 2017, the voting percentage was 66.6 in the city. In 2012, it was 69.1%. In 2007, it was 58.2%. In 2002, it was 55.8%. The expectations this time is that it will hang somewhere around 60 to 61%, which by Ahmedabad standards is not very bad. Though, compared to the overall scenario, if you look at, Ahmedabad has always voted 2 to 3% lower than the Gujarat state average. More significantly, and I think that's the reason why also the Prime Minister did those road shows and those rallies right in the end. And today in the morning also, his voting exercise also turned into some sort of an election campaign with him walking, people standing all around. And of course, it took about 2 hours of the media frenzy as well. But the lower voting, the percentages will have a story to tell, specifically in many areas of first phase, like the cities of Surat, Jamnagar, Rajkot, which usually used to see a good voter turnout in many constituencies. And I'll give you an example of Jamnagar North, where Rivawa Jadeja is contesting the election from. That constituency has voted 10% less than what it voted last time. That's where the political parties are not able to make an assessment, and it is being said that the BJP is worried. Rajkot West, Mr. Rupani's constituency, has voted 6% less. This time a new candidate has been given. They are saying that Mr. Rupani was not interested much in campaigning. That's the reason why the stronghold of the BJP did not get as many numbers. Surat, the voting percentage has been less, and added the flavor of the Aam Aadmi Party. Nobody knows which way many constituencies in Surat are going to fall. That's what makes this election interesting as well, Vishnu, apart from many other factors.
Okay. Thanks very much. Indeed, Ankit. Tanushree, now that you know that the voting is actually over, because so far we were being careful to not get into what people were actually saying in terms of voting preferences. But now that the voting is over, because you were talking to people the whole day, you were very careful not to ask them for their voting preferences. But from the answers that those people were giving you, whether it was you, whether it was Sohit, Ankit, the voices, at least in Ahmedabad, which is with the caveat as the BJP bastion, most of those people were saying things that indicated that they were in favor of the BJP. They were saying Vikas ho raha hai, hote jayega, aage bhi hoga. That kind of language, Tanushree, seem to indicate that, you know, this is that BJP is in pole position.
Absolutely, Vasu. In fact, you know, very interestingly, I was speaking to some of the voters in the morning, and I categorically told them, don't tell me your voting preference. And they also understood. They were also very smart, but they told me that we are telling you that there are very many issues. There are not enough jobs. There can be a water crisis on the ground. But we want what we want, and we want our Gujarati. So, you know, not exactly in those many words, but they also sort of hinted who they are going to vote. So I think you are absolutely correct when you say that it's slightly in, you know, at least in Ahmedabad, which is a major urban pocket and a major bastion for the Bharatiya Janata Party. Looks like people have voted for the incumbents. I have with me some of the voters who made it to the last minute inside the polling booths. In fact, they really had to request the officer to let them in. देर क्यों हो गई इतना? क्या लग रहा है? कम बड़ा आए हैं आज वोटर?
नहीं, हम बाहर गए थे, इसके लिए लेट हो गया।
अच्छा,
बराबर।
नहीं, आपको क्या लग रहा है, आए हैं ज्यादा लोग अहमदाबाद में कि इस बार कम वोटर लग रहा है थोड़ा?
वो तो अब तो क्या मालूम पड़ेगा।
हाँ। मतदान जब करते हैं क्या मुद्दा रहता है सर दिमाग में?
वो तो जिसको देना है उसको ही देंगे।
अच्छा,
हाँ,
या
जो होएगा मगज में वही होएगा।
मगज में जो होगा वही
हाँ, जिसको देने का जो पहले से नक्की हो गया हो गई।
हाँ,
बराबर। जिसकी सरकार है वही रहने वाली है।
You know, Vasu, here you go again. One of the persons, not in those many words, but told me what he had to tell me. But Vasu, very interestingly, these BJP workers on my left-hand side were sitting inside the polling booth all through, all through the day. We did not see any Aam Aadmi Party worker and any Congress worker for that matter. And that is what Bharatiya Janata Party really boasts about, that the booth management on the ground is so strong that even if the voter turnout is on a lower side, BJP workers are ensuring that at least their voters are coming to the polling booth and voting in their favor. सर, एक बात आपसे जानना चाहूंगी, आप लोग भारतीय जनता पार्टी के वर्कर हैं? हाँ, आप लोग वर्कर हैं। आप लोग पूरा दिन आज बैठे थे, मुझे कोई कांग्रेस का या आम आदमी पार्टी का नहीं दिखा।
एक्चुअली इधर कोई प्रत्याशी खड़ा ही नहीं रहना चाह रहा था कांग्रेस में।
अच्छा,
तो बाहर से खड़ा किया हुआ है, तो कभी कंपटीशन ही नहीं था हमारे वहाँ पे।
नहीं, एक बड़ी अच्छी बात ये भी है कि ना बीजेपी बड़ा बोस्ट भी करता है कि हमारा मैनेजमेंट बहुत स्ट्रांग है, बूथ वर्क बहुत स्ट्रांग है। अगर लोअर वोटर टर्नआउट भी रहता है, क्या कहीं ना कहीं वो फायदेमंद होता है इनकम्बेंट सरकार के लिए? क्योंकि आप लोग तो अपने वोटर को तो आप घर से बाहर निकाल के लाते हैं, जैसे कोई और पार्टी नहीं करती। क्या लगता है?
अभी देखो, आज जिस तरह से वोटिंग हुआ हमारे बूथ में, तो जो वोट करने वाले जो लोग है वो वन साइड गेम है बीजेपी की। अभी जिसने वोट किया वो बीजेपी के वोटर्स थे, कांग्रेस या आपके कोई वोटर्स यहाँ पे है ही नहीं। और अगर वो होते तो भी अभी तक तो कोई यहाँ पे ऐसा लगता नहीं है कि वोट देने के लिए आया होगा।
तो आप बोल रहे हैं कि जब वोटर टर्नआउट कम रहता है तो आप लोग के वोटर तो आप इंश्योर करते हैं कि पहुंचे बूथ तक?
हमारे वोटर्स तो 110% यहाँ पे वोट करने के लिए आई ही है।
हाँ।
और दूसरी पार्टी का तो पता नहीं। यहाँ पे हमने तो जब से इलेक्शन डिक्लेयर हुआ तब से अभी तक किसी को देखा भी नहीं है।
जल्दी से आपसे क्विकली वर्ड ले लूंगी एज अ सिटीजन ऑफ दिस एरिया, क्या लग रहा है वोटर टर्नआउट कम हुआ है इस बार कि ज्यादा है पिछले साल?
नहीं मैडम, पिछली बार से तो ज्यादा ही है, क्योंकि पिछली बार जो अराउंड 63% जो निकला था सेकंड फेज का रिजल्ट।
मैं अहमदाबाद की बात कर रही हूँ।
जी मैडम, 63% ही उसका रेशियो था और इस बार 61 आ रहा है।
आ चुका है क्या अभी तक?
नहीं मैडम, इतना आ रहा, क्योंकि 51% तो 3 बजे तक का रिजल्ट था इसका ओवरऑल का। तो अभी आप 2 घंटे में 10 से 15% तो एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हैं। और लास्ट 2 घंटे में काफी रश था ओवरऑल अहमदाबाद में। और मैडम कैसा है कि शादी का सीजन भी है और चालू दिन भी है, तो आप कंपेयर करेंगे ना तो उसके हिसाब से परसेंटेज तो काफी अच्छा रहा।
और आप लोग आज भी जा रहे थे घर घर वोटरों को बोल रहे थे आओ पहुंचो पोलिंग बूथ पे हमारे फेवर में वोट करो?
नहीं मैडम, वो उसकी जरूरत ही नहीं पड़ी मैडम। हमारे यहाँ की पब्लिक जागरूक है, उनको बोलने की जरूरत नहीं है, वो खुद ही आ जाते हैं। जी मैडम।
So you know Vasu, these are BJP workers. They were sitting inside the polling booth all through the day. We couldn't see any Aam Aadmi Party worker or any Congress booth worker for that matter. And now they are saying that even if the voter turnout is on a lower side, that is actually going to be beneficial for the incumbent government, which is obviously of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Let's see what the voter turnout is. In a short while from now, the State Election Commission is also going to hold a press conference to give a talk to the media as to how the voter turnout has worked out in the state of Gujarat. Vasu, back to you.
Okay, Tanushree, thanks very much for that. Interesting that you were actually able to show us the BJP's booth game, their famed or supposed Panna promo game on the ground, that you were largely able to see only BJP booth workers there, no booth workers from other parties in the constituency where you are. Sohit, let's also go across to you, because remember, Sohit, we had the same experience. You were interviewing some people. I think, if I'm not mistaken, this was in Gatlodia, the Chief Minister's constituency, earlier today. And again, most of them, when you spoke to them, they were saying कि यहाँ काम बहुत अच्छा हुआ है, विकास is good, we want to continue with this trend. Has that been your large experience speaking to people today?
Absolutely, Vasu. When I spoke to people, one thing which was very interesting today throughout the day is that most of them weren't talking about the state issues at all. They were talking about India देखो G20 host कर रहा है, गुजरात का comparison अमेरिका से होता है. These are the words they were using. हिंदुत्व, Modi ji. So these are in all what was being said on the ground. I asked people specifically कि आप लोगों को मोरबी के बारे में क्या वहाँ पर हुआ उसके बारे में आप कुछ नहीं सोचते. Then people said okay वो हो गया. Like I did not find even a single person speaking about it or speaking about local issues at a level where we see in different states. So basically national issue of Modi and Vikas is the word that was used the most throughout the day wherever we spoke to the people. Vikas, development, pragati.
Did you find, I know, so right,
yeah,
so this was the general, this was in a sense the larger or the majority view. Did you find anyone who was speaking the reverse, who was saying that they were not happy or were asking for badlav? Roughly what percentage would that be?
Well, in few places, like let me give you an example. In Viramgam, where Hardik Patel is contesting, over there people were appreciating their local Congress MLA. They were saying a lot of work was done. Especially people were upset with Hardik Patel. So that was one spot where I did find the Congress workers who were active. They were there. But as I said, these are on very few booths where we found that, where the Congress or the Aam Aadmi Party seems that, they think that they have a chance. In fact, where I am right now, this is the very place where we spoke in the afternoon as well. This is the constituency from where the Chief Minister is contesting. And in this very Ghatludia booth, in the afternoon when Ishudan Gadvi came here to vote, there were Modi chants that were being raised when he was inside CM candidate. To vote. So,
Right.
Yeah, but even when he was here to vote, there were Modi chants that was happening. Outside when he was addressing a press conference, Jai Shri Ram chants were being used that as well. So yes, in the city, what we can say is that the BJP has been very aggressive. Their workers were seen throughout the day. But in the rural areas, especially out in the outer skirts of Ahmedabad, we did see that the Congress still has a hold over there. So interestingly, what we have been talking, that the urban voters are with the BJP and the rural voters are not that much with the BJP. That seems to be case at least in the areas that I visited today.
All right, okay. Thank you, all of you, for joining us. We'll keep checking in with you, especially as we start to get more clear data from the Election Commission on what the final turnout is. Let's now open it up to panel. We have with us Prashant Pratap Singh, spokesperson of the Congress, is with us. Alok Vats, leader of the BJP, is here with us. Abanandita Mathur of Aam Aadmi Party is with us. Vipin Pabbi, senior journalist, is also with us. But first, let's start with Aarti Jared. Aarti Jared, good to see you in studio. It's finally good to be in person.
Absolutely.
After
it's
this,
such a wonderful feeling to be back in the studio.
yeah, that too for a kind of election, round table. So let me just start with you. So now, Aarti, as we're now about probably about an hour left before the exits start coming out. And since voting is over, we can be a little more clear in terms of trying to make sense of what's happened. So, Aarti, would you say that is Gujarat a done deal and Himachal is the only one that may be more interesting? Or you think there's still a Gujarat twist in the tail?
I don't really think so. I think Gujarat is pretty much a done deal. The only real question in Gujarat is, of course, as you've been saying all along, who comes number 2 and who comes number 3. And also whether the BJP is able to, I think the highest, number of seats the BJP got was in 2002.
That's
when
right.
they won 122 or
127.
127, right. So whether they're able to breach that and, reach the 140, 150 mark as they're aiming to do. And frankly, I think this election is all about that, which is why Prime Minister Modi has staked so much prestige on it.
Right.
It's almost like they want to prove a point after the narrow escape they had 5 years ago when, they were really struggling to win the Gujarat elections.
Right.
And for the first time, they fell into double digits. For the first time, Modi fell into double digits. So I think this is a point that he wants to prove that he is still the only figure, the dominant figure in Gujarat, and nobody else matters. So I think that's really the only point of interest. Where does the BJP,
where does the BJP end up? Are they going to break their own record of 127? Yeah. And who is going to be number 2 and who is going to be number 3? Prashant Pratap Singh of the Congress, isn't that extraordinary that you have a situation where the Congress hit 77 in 2017, your best performance in close to 3 decades, and instead of building on that, and this is something I've been saying throughout, that in my career as a journalist, I've never actually seen this, that a party, a national party, particularly like the Congress, has virtually given a walkover.
Good evening to everyone. The last time also, there was a lot of talk about Congress not being so aggressive. I remember when we started the campaign, we were getting 30, 40 seats. Even the exit polls were showing like getting 40 to 50 seats. Possibly it became a shocker later on that we were touching 80 seats and we lost only 10 seats by 1,500 votes. So this is the same time.
Hold on.
Everybody's talking about Congress not being
hold on.
fair.
I think last time we all were there. It was very different, right? It was a very, very intensely fought election by the Congress. Rahul Gandhi, I think himself did close to 33, 34 rallies. He was holding a rally in every district. Ashok Gehlot was in charge. He was fully hands-on. I mean, the Congress fought that election tooth and nail. And this time, I mean, look at what's happened, or rather, what's not happened.
I don't know, Basu, if you heard Prime Minister Modi speaking to some of his people, there's an undercurrent of Congress. Be careful. So the perception which is possibly created by money and brute force is not existing when it comes to Congress, because we don't believe in that. This is the first time that you possibly don't see us too much overtly, but on the ground, and this is the perception. We are happy.
But I mean, this is an interesting thing. I want to bring Aarti in here. This is to me fascinating. The Congress, every time we say this, that listen, you have just thrown this election, they actually quote the Prime Minister as a validation of their.
It's
campaign.
quite ironic, isn't it?
There's the Prime Minister talks about an undercurrent. Why should you be? You are not the party in power. You are the opposition. Why should you be banking on an undercurrent? You should be banking on a massive attempt to expose anti-incumbency, if at all there is anti-incumbency.
Absolutely. And Vasu, you're quite right. The last campaign, the Congress was so energetic. I mean, it was like, it was a bit like the Aam Aadmi Party is today. Very visible, very vocal, very energetic. And they really ran the BJP close, and we could see the panic in the BJP towards the end.
And then you just drop the ball after.
And
If you
then
had built on that,
disappear. Just disappear from Gujarat.
It's both a combination of that and Alok Vats's. Very interesting. A BJP leader who campaigned in Gujarat was telling me that essentially, if you take the Modi factor away, BJP and Congress would have been at level, are at level. And if the Congress had just worked a little harder, they could have flipped this election, right? So, I think what has helped you is the fact that the main opposition party has literally thrown in the towel. And second, it's just Modi, Modi, Modi.
Well, he is our trump card, there is no doubt about it. But then we campaign.
No, but you concede that he is papering over what is not such a great performance. As in, it's not that you otherwise would have ended up with a 4th consecutive term, right? That's largely being carried on the back of not necessarily great governance, but a weak opposition and Modi.
Yes, weak opposition has been a factor, and also the fight between the Aam Aadmi Party and Congress. They are eating into each other's votes. Wherever Aam Aadmi Party has come in, they have eaten the Congress votes and they have made them weaker. But otherwise, let me tell you.
No, but governance, you would concede that
the
this is not the report card, this is not 9 or 8 or 10.
But then during the Modi regime, it was excellent. Now it is good, but it's not in a poor category.
Abhi ki baat, now I am talking about, because now Modi has not been there since 2014. So, it's been 8 years of no Modi.
Now it is a good government. During Modi's term, it was an excellent governance. So, but still the factor that the people, it's a complete walkover in a way. Because Congress was relying on Modi's statement. The undercurrent is there, and they were thinking that the undercurrent isn't going to be in their favor.
Yeah, I just find.
But they were not to be seen.
Amazing. And the Congress
and Vasu in politics and business
draw strength from what the Prime Minister is saying about their campaign. It's amazing.
Can I make a point, about what you're saying?
Before we go to AAP, yes.
That I think the low voter turnout, at least in the first phase, I don't know what the figures are today. I think the low voter turnout, it's probably going to help the BJP and everything, but it shows that there isn't very much enthusiasm amongst people for the election.
Sure.
You've had this high-octane campaign by AAP. You've had a high-octane campaign by the BJP with the PM doing the longest ever road show.
Sure.
And yet the voter turnout is so low that the Election Commission had to come out and issue an appeal to people to come out and vote.
That's right. Unusual.
Which means